Plenty of Premier League clubs did some pretty clever business last summer and last season, but not everybody could get themselves a Maguire or a Salah. From big money flops to told you so long shots, here are our 11 worst Premier League signings of the 2017-18 campaign. There's stiff competition in between the sticks, and a dishonourable mention has to go to Bournemouth stopper Asmir Begovic, who conceded more than any other keeper in the league. But while Begovic was cursed to play in front of a very leaky defence, Joe Hart distinguished himself with some admirably individual displays of incompetence. In due course, Hart lost his place in the starting lineup to Adrian, and though he did manage to claw his way back into the team by the end of the season, the fact that he's been left out of Gareth Southgate's World Cup squad speaks volumes about the direction that his career is currently taking. Worst of all for West Ham, they really should have seen this one coming. Hart had a tough time at Torino, and Hammers have been paying the price this season for not heeding the warning signs. Now, with his loan spell at West Ham up, his poor old agent is going to have a tough summer touting Hart around to whichever club he can find. Stoke were mugged off plenty of times last season, but perhaps no team turned them over as badly as Tottenham did before the first ball had even been kicked, when they took £18 million for Kevin Wimmer. After a disastrous first half of the season in which Stoke conceded 40 goals, Wimmer was promptly binned by the incoming manager Paul Lambert in January and hadn't made an appearance since. Now Stoke have gone down, but they're going to be paying his wages until 2022. A truly disastrous bit of business on their part. Speaking of shocking pieces of business, Everton are also worthy of a mention here. They got shaken up like a lost tourist in a Bangkok night market, paying way over the odds for some serious underachievers. Now, Michael Keane wasn't the worst offender, but he was disappointing, perhaps weighed down by his £25 million price tag. On top of that, Burnley smashed it without him. Poor old Michael Keane must be wishing he stayed put. Rounding off the back three, £35 million Manchester United flop Victor Lindelöf. Now, the Swede shone in the Benfica side that stormed to the Portuguese title in 2016-17, but he found it difficult to adjust to the Prem. He had turned it on a bit in the first half of this year, but it still looks like he's probably going to be packed off on loan somewhere next season after an altogether disappointing first campaign at Old Trafford. Our first midfielder was one of the hottest prospects in Europe a couple of years ago, but after failing to prove himself in the Bundesliga and now crashing out of the Premier League with the Baggies, Oliver Burke is looking less and less like the player he might once have been. To be fair to him, he did well to even survive a bruising season under the catastrophic regimes of Pulis and Pardew, but it still looks like Oliver Burke is going to continue struggling to live up to his own hype. Just 2 years ago, after taking Euro 2016 by storm, Renato Sanchez was everybody's one to watch. But he failed to break through at Bayern Munich, and last season's loan spell at Swansea was a car crash from start to finish. Sanchez made just 12 appearances, scored no goals and provided no assists, and he was accordingly swerved by Fernando Santos when the Portugal coach came to name his World Cup squad. To be fair though, Sanchez is only 20 years old, and we're sure that his time will come. Back to Goodison Park now, and the fact that these two players were even signed together in the same window should have spelled trouble right from the off. Gylfi Sigurdsson and Davy Klaassen are both quality players, but there was never room for 4 number 10s at Everton, and these pair really struggled in the overcrowded midfield mire. £45 million waster Sigurdsson managed just 3 assists all season, and Klaassen just 7 starts. Somebody in the Everton recruitment department wants a serious talking to. Our final midfield flop is Chelsea's £40 million man Bakayoko. Now, poor old Monaco had their title-winning side picked apart piece by piece by the European elite last summer, and with a Matic-shaped hole to fill in midfield, Chelsea brought Bakayoko to the bridge. But he failed to find his feet in the Premier League, and a particularly disastrous display against Watford, which saw him lose the ball 6 times and then get himself sent off after half an hour, was the nadir of an already shit season. This next player made the move away from Swansea last season when he signed for Spurs, but after he arrived in North London, Fernando Durente was unable to escape Harry Kane's shadow. With Tottenham neither needing nor ever really attempting to cater their tactics to suit Llorente's game, the 33-year-old was unable to make an impression, and his grand total of 1 league goal for the season represents a pretty meagre return on a £12 million investment. Finally then, the most expensive of the lot, the most spectacular swing and miss of the season, Alvaro Morata. Replacing Costa in Conte's side was never going to be easy, and Morata actually started off okay. But when things went wrong, they went very badly wrong, and the Spaniard never really looked like paying off his price tag. 1 league goal since December is a piss poor statistic for somebody who's earning 120 grand a week, and Conte would do his own chances of surviving at the bridge a big favour if he gets rid of Morata pretty quickly. Chelsea are likely to take a pretty big loss, but it's obvious that Alvaro ain't about it, and his days in the Premiership are probably pretty much done. Don't expect a tearful goodbye at the bridge. There we have it. If there's anybody in there who you think doesn't really deserve to be, or anybody whom we've left out who you think definitely does need to be named and shamed, let us know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you soon.